I'm Riz Khan, journalist who was with Al Jazeera English and CNN and the BBC before that. And I'm here with the Alliance of Civilizations, moderating events here in Istanbul, Turkey. I've been doing events with the AOC since it was founded. So I have a lot of background with the AOC's goals and missions and a lot of the people involved.
What do you think about the events just happened in the previous time in the Middle East, in the Islamic countries, and what do you think about an Islamic Union which may occur in the Middle East, including the other countries, non-Islamic countries as well?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation because, of course, the Arab Spring, as it's called, is for the West it's very confusing. They don't really know how to assess what is happening because there's been no final outcome. I mean, Egypt is still going through transition. Tunisia has settled down. Syria is still in turmoil. Libya is still finding its feet. So it's not a story that has finished yet. So it's very hard to know what the long-term picture of the Middle East will be because of what's happened. In terms of the news industry, like my profession, you know, it provides a lot of stories for us, and we tend to focus a lot on the negative. We always look at the bad things. We don't tend to look at the good. So many people are hearing the Arab Spring in the context of the negative things that happen. They talk about the freedoms and democracy and everything else, but most of the pictures we see are of the troubles. So for me, I always wish the media would change a little bit and focus on some of the positives that happen. The fact that there is some effort for unity, that there is some effort to be tolerant of religions and so on. I mean, we have to remember that, you know, these Arab countries are not just Muslim, they are also Christian. You have, you know, they're secular basically. So it's very easy to paint the picture wrongly and make it just one religion or one people. You know, there's diversity which needs to be recognized and addressed, which is what the Alliance of Civilizations is trying to do. In terms of an Islamic Union, there's been talk of, you know, this pan-Arab cooperation. The trouble is that the religion may unite a lot of the people in the Arab world, but it doesn't address the issues of the tribal diversities. You know, Egyptians are very different from Saudis, who are very different from Lebanese, who are different from the Khaliji, and so on. And I think a lot of those issues need to be resolved, and people need to feel more united regionally. It has to be more about common goals, economics, improving the standard of living. You can't have one country in the Union so poor and struggling while another country is very wealthy and spending, you know, billions on infrastructure and so on. So I think the unity has to be both economic as well as religious as well as social. I think that's when you will have true union.
And also, what do you think about the role of Turkey performing such a union?
Well, you know,
non-Muslim countries as well.
For me, Turkey is a very special place. When I was 4.5 years old, I was born in Yemen when it was a British colony. And when we left Yemen, when the Civil War happened, and I was only 4 years old, we moved to London because we were born with, you know, British passports, and so we came through Turkey on the way. My father was assigned here for a job, so we spent a couple of months. And even though I was only 4, turning 5, I remember it so well. And coming back to Turkey as a child and then as an adult regularly, it's always been a very special place for me because it represents the true mix of what people can be. You know, Turkey has this fantastic secularism where you can have different people of different ethnicities and different religions living together. You know, Turkey recognizes its strong Islamic values, it recognizes its, you know, moral codes and sort of ethnic solidity, but it also appreciates that Turkey fits in the world as a bridge, physically, you know, with the Bosphorus and with dividing Asia and Europe, but also as a country that can look both east and west. And I think this is Turkey's strength. Turkey can look both east and west and has started to recognize the value of the east much more than many Western countries. I mean, the West still clings on to this, we are powerful, we are dominant. That's not the case anymore. And Turkey proves that you can have eyes on both the east and the west. So I think Turkey has a very important role to play. Inshallah. Congratulations. Yeah, well, I mean, Turkey's media has grown, and it's interesting to see, and I have some great friends here in the media, and I was here for when I was with CNN, I came for the first year anniversary of CNN Turk in those days, and I thought, this is amazing. Turkey's media is growing back then, And now look at it, a dozen years later, it's just been phenomenal. So I think, as long as people realize the media has to be strong and free and be able to represent the whole community, it's going to be a very powerful force for improving the lives of the Turkish people. And the media is where they can have the debate and enjoy information and learn some valuable things. So congratulations to A9. I mean, it's great that the TV is growing and everything's doing well here.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. See you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.